So good morning students. So in this session we are going to discuss about what are the list of experiments and small introduction about digital electronics lab. It's a third semester lab. Here we are going to do these are the 13 experiments. Study of logic gates first one, and half adder and half subtractor, full adder and full subtractor. These two we are going to implement using logic gates. And the fourth one, design and implementation of code converters using logic gates from BCD to XS3 code. BCD to XS3 code, and design and implementation of code converters using XS3 to BCD code. So this is BCD to XS3 and XS3 to BCD code. And another two more converters will be binary to gray and gray to binary, right? These are the four things for code converters, comes under four code converters. And eighth experiment will be design and implementation of 4-bit binary adder cum subtractor. In one circuit it will act as a 4-bit binary adder cum subtractor, right? And BCD adder using IC 7483, right? And the ninth one will be multiplexer and demultiplexer using logic gates. And 10th one, encoder and decoder. 11th one will be, it's a counter, right? Construction and verification of 4-bit ripple counter and mod 10 ripple counters. 12th one will be 4-bit ripple counter and mod 12 ripple counters, right? So what is a mod 10 and mod 12? It's the counter will count till 0 to 10, right? After 10 it will again, it goes to reset point 0 0 0. Likewise mod 12 also. 13 one will be the design and implementation of 3-bit synchronous up down counter. So this circuit will act as a 3-bit, that means 0 0 0, right? Up to 7, right? 1 1 1. So if it is a 3-bit, the possible combinations will be 0 0 0 to 1 1 1. It is up counter, means starts from 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and down counter is a 7 6, likewise 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so likewise these are the 13 experiments we are going to do in digital electronics lab, right? And the first thing, before entering to these all 13 experiments, we have to know about the trainer kit. So all experiments we are going to do in only trainer kits, right? IC trainer kit. First we have to know about what is IC trainer kit and what are the functions will be there, and where it is input, how we can give input and how we can take output, and supplies, right? Power supplies. Now each and every IC, it's a power supply is required, right? So from where we can give plus 5 volt and ground point, right? Those details and all we will see in this session, right? This is a breadboard, right? This is a breadboard connection. Already you know the breadboard connection in basic electronics lab, right? So this is a top row, right? This is a top row. These, so here it is a 5 group of dots will be there, right? It's a 5 group of dots, this one, and here 2 3 4 5. These 5 are one connection, right? If you give 5 volt here, you can take that same 5 volt from either of these connections, okay? And here these 5 will be separate, these 5 will be separate, right? If you want to give 5 volt here, if you want to take the same 5 volt here you have to give a jumper. So in between these 5 connections and these 5 connections, you have to give jumper. And these are all vertically linked. So these are all vertically linked. It's a separate connections, vertically linked. And here also the same, like top rows is a bottom rows. So here this one we can used as a positive, and this one we can use as a negative circuits, right? So these are the small introduction about breadboards, right? See, this is how we can connect, right? See here IC we have to connect it between, right? Here only we have to connect it, right? So IC, and here they given a jumper wires, right? Here we can give a jumper wires. It means what? So this line will act as 5 volt, and this also the same thing will act as a 5 volt. If you give 5 volt here, you can take the same 5 volt here. Okay, so resistor you can grounded like this, right? If you want to ground one terminal as a grounded point, you can connect like this. This is the LED how they connected, and in between the resistance, if you want to connect it, you can connect it like this. So this is a small breadboard connection. So main thing we have to note it how the IC is connected in the breadboard. Okay, so this is a trainer kit what we are going to use in our lab. This is a one type of IC trainer kit. This is another type digital IC trainer kit, right? So this one doesn't have breadboard, and this trainer kit will have breadboard connection, right? And so here this is a input section, right? This is input section. The black one we can give a input, and this is output section. This is the logic output, this is logic input, and here there will be a IC jacket will be there. This is called IC jacket, right? So where we can place our IC and we can lock it, and this will act as a IC pins. This will act as IC pins. For this IC jacket, this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal, right? We can connect the respective pins, positive and negatives. Likewise, we are having 4 IC sockets. We can simultaneously we can connect 4 ICs here, right? So, and this is the power section. This is the power section, plus 5 volt and 0 volt, right? So some of the ICs we can give 12 volt, and some of the ICs we have to give 5 volt, right? So that's why 5 volt, 0 plus 5, minus 12 plus 12 and 0, right? And these are the things will be there. So whatever we are using in digital electronics, only 5 volts we have to use, only these two. Okay, and this is a trainer including a breadboard, right? So in the breadboard you can connect if you want as much as possible ICs, you can connect it. This will act as a input, right? Input switches, this is a toggle switch. If you toggle it, the light will on, so it will indicate whether the toggle is having input is 1 or 0. So the output, this will be a output. Behind this output there will be a LEDs, right? We can easily indicate whether the output is zeros or ones, right? So this is the power supply section. This is the power supply section. And if you want to connect some other ICs, here also they given 2 sockets, right? So ICs they will given, right? So now the madam will explain it's a detail about what is trainer kit, how we can connect ICs and all, right?
Today we are going to see about the basic electronics laboratory. So in this laboratory we are going to use some basic logic gates for truth table, also for implementation in digital system. So first we start the lab with interactive part of the digital electronics lab. So first I will give you the small explanation about the trainer kit which we are going to use in this digital electronics lab. Okay. So today in this digital electronics laboratory we will be using a digital trainer kit. As I told before, we will be using a digital trainer kit for connecting the circuit. So this is one type of digital trainer kit that we will be using in our laboratory. Okay, and this is also another type of trainer kit that we are being using in the laboratory. Okay, so in both the kit you can use for verifying the logics in digital electronics laboratory. So this is the basic trainer kit that we will be using. So here in the middle place they have fixed a breadboard. So you all know that breadboard is used to connect all the discrete components. So discrete components, here you will be using the IC for connecting the circuit and also to verify the logic. So this is the breadboard section. So this is your input section. So with the help of this button you will be selecting the logic either 0 or 1. So that is selected with the help of this input section, and this is your output section. And before we verify the logic, we have to on the gate. So this is your power button. Okay. So if you on this button, the kit started to work. Okay. So this is your power button for the kit. So this is your breadboard session where you will give a connection for discrete components, and this is your input session, and this is your output session. And for each IC you have to give a supply. So that supply can be given in this part. Okay. So that supply is nothing but your VCC and ground. So you will be using positive 5 volt supply for IC. Minimum maximum supply to be given is 5 volt only. So 5 volt supply and ground. Okay. So this is the basic introductory part of the digital trainer kit that we are using for connection purpose in digital electronics lab. Okay. So this is the main switch. So as I told, it is an input session, right? So in this input session, we have to give the signal. So as it is a digital logic, we have to represent the input either in the form of 0 or 1. Okay. So now all the signals are in the off stage. So the signal is in the form of off stage. So the signal input is 0. So I have to change the input to 1. Then I have to toggle it. Okay. So if I on this switch, I can change the input from 0 level to 1 level. Okay. The signal changes, input signal can change from 0 to 1 with the help of this switch. So this side it indicates the off mode, and this side it indicates the on mode of the input signal. As I told before, in the in digital electronics lab, we will be using two types of trainer kit. So this is another type of trainer kit. Here we can use the IC directly with the help of the circuitry. Okay. So we can use at the same time we can use 4 ICs connection separately to get the output side. But we can verify the logic both in